Hi, I'm Marshall from Freight Companies Australia, and today I'm going to talk to you about the miracle of freight, or how I'm sometimes amazed anything actually gets delivered. Seriously, how does freight work, what can go wrong, and how do we at Freight Companies Australia try and get things right most of the time? Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which I'm presenting to you today, the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respect to their elders past, present, and emerging. Let's look at some really sexy freight. This is a great pallet dispatched by one of our customers to one of our customers. You can see that the pallet has been wrapped nicely. There's edges involved, there's labeling, the cartons are all the right way up. They've even strapped it down to the pallet and also put some edges on there. And there's a proof of delivery, which is a photo, irrefutable evidence that the job was done properly. Most of the time, freight looks like this. 98% of the time, things go okay. However, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes a warehouse might look more like this. This is not a photo from anyone I know, does not involve any of our carriers or any of our customers or suppliers. Sometimes freight gets damaged, sometimes it gets misdelivered, sometimes it gets split delivered. These are the things that can go wrong in freight. So how do we manage that and how do we stop that from happening? The first thing I need to tell you is there are no guarantees. Sometimes stuff will go wrong, and that's the nature of freight. What freight management about is minimizing the chance of things going wrong and then being able to deal with them quickly when things do go wrong. But there are no guarantees, but there are ways of managing distribution to try and stop things happening too often. Because freight's a people industry and people make mistakes. People get busy, people get stressed, people get tired, or sometimes the nature of the work isn't set up to allow those people to win. So we're going to make mistakes as people. Hundreds of thousands of people involved in logistics around Australia on a daily basis. And as anyone knows, every now and then we're going to get things wrong. The second factor is technology, built by people, of course, but sometimes computers don't get it right. There might have been a problem with the programming, might be a problem with the rates loaded, there might be a problem with the barcode scanner. So we're going to see little problems and errors there. And the third thing, of course, is that freight involves equipment. Quite heavy equipment, quite complex equipment, and from time to time equipment is going to break down. So obviously we would look to manage that by maintaining the equipment and working with transport companies that run well-managed good equipment and new equipment, but even the best maintenance and management tools, sometimes little things are going to go wrong, possibly not even related to the transport company we're using. It could be a third-party factor get involved. So when stuff does go wrong with deliveries, sometimes you might hear a transport company invoke force majeure, which I believe is French for "it's not our fault, so don't sue us." So this can be anything from we couldn't actually get into the delivery point because there were traffic works, or because the DC was overloaded, or there was flooding, the rail was out, or seriously, at the moment, there could be international conflict stopping a delivery be made, potentially even alien invasion. So in these cases, transport companies will not take responsibility for things going wrong. The other time they won't take responsibility for things going wrong is when the sender gets it wrong. Now, I'm not one to victim blame, but every now and then the sender will make a little mistake. And it could be something as simple as just putting the wrong label on the wrong carton, or it could be giving the wrong carton to the wrong transport company. It could be putting no labels on the carton. There's a whole bunch of little things that can go wrong there. When we do that, we're not really setting the transport company up to win. However, in my experience, this is a small percentage of the actual problems we will see with deliveries. And more often than not, they're caused by the transport companies. And you might have systemic issues where the transport company is using the wrong GPS system. And instead of telling them to go around the Montague Street Bridge, they're telling them to try and get underneath the Montague Street Bridge. There's a couple of other factors that might be involved there. And we also have today errors. So sometimes transport companies just get it wrong. The sorter on the dock just might put the Bendigo carton onto the Newcastle cage. Or the driver might take a left when they should take a right. Driver might be sick and the transport company isn't able to get people to come in and work because there's a shortage of workers, for example. So things will go wrong from time to time. So the real question is, how at Freight Companies Australia do we try and minimise these things happening? And really what it comes down to is we know that we can't control everything, but we can set ourselves up to win. So the things we can control and things we can't. And that's what we focus on with our customers. What can we change? What can we control as a freight management company to ensure that our customers get their freight delivered more often than not? And this starts off with the very first meeting with a potential customer, where we're not a jump onto the website and load yourself up and then off you go. We look at each individual customer. We look at their distribution patterns. We look at where it's going, what it's going. Are they home deliveries? Are they lengths? Is it industrial supplies? We then run that through a model and then try and choose from the 15,000 different transport companies in Australia. What are the pockets of excellence? So how can we give this customer the best solution of Australian freight companies without overwhelming their dispatch manager and also with keeping their costs under control? Because there are a lot of carriers under there. There are, as I said, 15,000 carriers. They all do something similar, but they all do things a lot different as well. So we have to make sure it's the right carrier, the right freight, the right time for the right price. And when we do that, things go really, really well because we've set the carrier up to win and we've set the customer up to win. We're not asking people to do things they shouldn't be doing. We combine all this with some pretty snazzy technology called Freight Data International. Essentially what happens in here is all the carrier data, all the customer data goes into the one portal, and our customers can choose on a daily consignment by consignment basis which of their selected carriers and services they want to use. Is it a home delivery? Is it a length? Is it something else? They don't use the same carrier all the time, and it might be a same day, it might be an overnight, it might be an interstate road express consignment. Then this technology also allows for reporting. It allows for accruals financially as well. So one solution for all those different freight options and all managed by us. So we can see exactly what our customers are doing. We can talk to our customers about what they're doing. We can give them feedback and help them make better decisions next time. And then when it all works and when we do our job properly, then we're all just like this little guy. And we're all happy and we're all cheery. And 98% of the time we get it right. And when we don't, then it's our job to help you out and help look after it. Because at Freight Companies Australia, we're delivering miracles every day. If you want to know more about how we can help you, feel free to call on 03 9008 6999 or jump on the web at freight.com.co. Thank you.